No questions?
No.
Okay. Perfect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Ask Tiffany. I am Tiffany, your host, I guess, although I'm here with Yunetta Smith, and that is what I'm really excited to talk about, Yunetta's story. So I'm going to be doing a series. You've seen a couple of these happening where I have other therapists come on and talk about their journeys with fees, fee raising, thinking about themselves as business people. And so this is why I was excited to have Yunetta on, because she has recently had a fee win. But before we get into that, Yunetta, tell us a little bit about you and your practice.
Hello. Thank you, Tiffany, for allowing me to chat with you today. My name is Yunetta Smith, and I have a practice here in Clarksville, Tennessee. No one probably knows where that is. It's very small. But Clarksville, Tennessee, and I have a private practice. It's Springforth Counseling, and I work with a lot of military families and the military population.
How long have you been in practice?
So I have officially been in practice for 1 year in November. So yes, I'm excited about that. But I'm working part-time private practice right now, and my goal is to transition to full-time by this summer.
Yes. Oh, very cool. What has to be possible for you to transition to full-time in the summer?
I have some money goals related to like paying off debt and getting to a certain point where I feel like I can be a little bit more comfortable with being full-time. So that's
mm-hmm. What's prompting you? What makes you want to feel like, okay, I'm ready to leave my job and go into full-time private practice? How come?
Because this is just what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel fulfilled in my practice. I know that I'm doing great work. I'm seeing my clients grow, and I want to expand that, even more and be able to be more effective and reach more people.
I like that. So to be more effective and reach more people, that sounds like, a logical answer, like an intellectual answer. But that thing when you said, it's just what I'm meant to do, that's the thing that's like when you get that bug inside of like, oh, this is my thing. I know it. Even outside of thinking, something inside. It sounds like that's private practice for you.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So what is your win?
Yes. So my win as far as working or navigating through the Lean and Make Bank course, I actually initially felt like it wouldn't necessarily be for me, simply because I'm working private practice. I'm like, I'm just part-time, or I'm not necessarily full fee, private practice. I accept insurance, so I'm not sure if it would really fit for me. However, you're awesome. And I've gained so much insight. I know, right? So much insight from you. And I know that being a private practice is where I want to be. So I feel like it would be beneficial to go ahead and start working through that stuff now. And
let me stop you for a moment. So this is actually an Ask Tiffany episode. I'm glad it's turned into an advertisement for Lean and Make Bank. But I was initially thinking, that's totally fine. I'm always happy to be like, get in there. So for folks listening, I have a course called Lean and Make Bank. You can go find out about that on the website. But I'm glad you mentioned it. I'll have people talk about it all day long. So you were thinking, okay, I know I want to do this money stuff. You saw a Lean and Make Bank course, and you're like, I don't know if it's for me, but I'll do it anyway. So what you're about to share with us came out of some insights you gained while doing that course. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, got it. Okay, so go ahead. Tell us what.
Mainly the win I got was to be more confident and more comfortable with talking about money with my clients. Did not realize how much my money issues kind of interfered with working with my clients and allowing them to kind of dig deeper. For instance, like if a client came in and they had like an anxiety related issue, but they got very anxious when it was time to buy something, I would look at it and say, oh, let's talk about this anxiety, instead of saying, oh, let's talk about this money, where does that come from? So it really helped me to shift my gears and look at when money comes up in session to kind of push back the areas that I had, the I guess, the uncomfortable feeling that I had about money and dig deeper with my clients to help them to see how their mindset related to money is connected to, a lot of times, to their issues.
Are you saying that before it was easier if they mentioned money in the context of some other anxiety, depression, it was easier before for you to focus on the other things and kind of avoided the money piece of that clinical material? Going into the money piece, actually allowing yourselves to talk about that together. What have you discovered in the work, or what has that opened up for you in your clinical work?
Yeah, I think it's opened up what I've already known, but just kind of confirmed that everything is connected, you know? So if there is an issue and it's related to money, talking about money is not going to distract you from the issue. It's just going to kind of bring it all around and help for the client to understand how all of these different parts of their lives are connected and related to whatever it is that they came in for, whether it be anxiety, depression, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting this thing you're talking about. It's almost like before, if you were like, money doesn't matter, that's greed. Mm-hmm. And I imagine there's lots of societal messages or even internal stories about what it means to talk about or have money. So before you would kind of have that over here and you'd be like, let's talk about these other things. And this is almost like a blockage here. But let's not go that way. Whereas once you got more comfortable and confident, both looking at your own money stuff and then allowing that to be present in the clinical material, it almost like opened up a pathway so everything is now integrated. That's no longer a blockage. It's all part of the work. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And realizing that the blockage was really associated with my personal beliefs and my money mindset beliefs, you know? So I allowed that to interfere with allowing that client to be able to connect everything. So once I was able to work through my stuff in the course, then I realized, oh, okay. So when my stuff came up in session, I was able to notice it was happening. And then when that awkward, uncomfortable feeling came up, I was able to like lean into it and push that client a little bit further. And I saw a lot of growth, you know, and change and insight.
I love it. This thing about when you had discomfort, it sounds like before when you had discomfort or anxiety, if an issue like that came up, you would go talk about something else. Whereas now you can tolerate that discomfort enough to actually push through it, to understand what's there on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like, abort, control, alt, delete, run. And I was able to do it in other areas. Like if something came up in session and it's connected or uncomfortable, I knew like, oh, if it's anxiety related, like, okay, this is it, dig deeper. But for some reason, because I hadn't worked through the money stuff, when money came up, it was like, yeah, no, we're not dealing with that. Let's focus on this. So that was really, really beneficial. As far as like implementing like no-show fees as well. And, you know, kind of sticking to my rate and not feeling like, okay, let's do this sliding scale thing. So that was another benefit. Like my no-show fee has been like implemented and I'm not budging or necessarily, oh, well, you were sick. And, you know, I'm not doing that. And my rate is not sliding anymore. It's, you know, for my private pay clients, it's the full fee. So that's been helpful too.
I love this. So you're both talking about the clinical material, the way you could show up in the room differently, but you also have made concrete changes in your practice that will allow you to actually leave your job and create your practice when you pay off your debt.
Yep.
That's very cool. So let me ask you this. So one of the reasons I like to have actual therapists outside of myself, because I'm up here and people are like, well, of course, Tiffany, you can do that. You've been talking about it and all this, right? But you have recently made these changes. What would you say to folks who are like, oh, I'm terrified, or that sounds really scary, or is this possible for me? What do you say?
Basically, the magic happens outside of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? So being able to look into it and evaluate, do you have money mindset issue? Is that an area that you've even ever looked at or explored? You know, how much do you talk about money in your sessions? And if you don't talk about it at all, why not? You know, and just encouraging them to look into it and give it a try, because it was helpful. It was very helpful for me.
I love that. So what are 3 things? We're going to make this concrete for folks.
Okay.
For folks who are struggling with, I don't know, money stuff, or like, how do I start addressing it? What are 3 concrete tips you have for folks to help them get into this money stuff?
Okay. So I'm gonna look because
Yeah, definitely look.
I wrote it down and I don't want to forget. But first is noticing, getting real clear about your maladaptive beliefs as it pertains to money. So being really clear about what your money mindset is, how you view money, how you view people with money, how you view yourself when you have money, how you view yourself when you don't have money. Like really being clear about where you stand, because that will reduce interference when stuff comes up in session. You'll be able to quickly say, okay, I know this was my mindset or is my mindset, so I don't have to struggle with that. I can focus on my client, in that moment. And then once you're clear about it, noticing when fear or discomfort comes up in session, and instead of pulling away from it, like leaning into it and kind of asking questions and exploring. What I found is when discomfort or fear comes up in session, it's almost like that's the hot spot. Like you're there, like something is here, something is happening here. So instead of pulling away from that, asking more questions about it and gaining that insight to help your client get the insight. And then I think that's three things. I think I kind of mix them all together.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Really,
I love it. And one thing I was thinking about when you're talking about the maladaptive beliefs, I'm doing this work constantly, and even just 2 days ago, I found a new maladaptive belief, and it's one I've even perpetuated with Hey Tiffany. I'm sure people have heard me talk about it, like, oh, I'm not a math person. Money is hard. And I realized that's a story that I've been telling myself. And so instead now I've been consciously saying, money is easy to understand. So it's a constant unfolding to identify those maladaptive beliefs, and often we need help. Other people to point out, like, hey, that's not true necessarily, right?
Another thing that had came up is a client can only get as far as their therapist is, So as I continue to challenge myself with my money beliefs, I bring my mindset, up a little bit more, and then that gives my clients a little bit more space, to grow as well. So that's been helpful too.
That is awesome and absolutely on point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the deal. What is a challenge? So for people watching this video and they're like, oh, okay, I see Yunetta did it. I think I could do something like that. What's a challenge that you would ask them? Okay, do this thing, guys, and then get back to me in a week. What is that thing?
Focus on the solution and not the problem, and get back with me in a week.
So what does that, okay. Can you give us a sense of what that looks like?
So what that looks like is if there is a barrier of some sort, focusing on all the reasons why this isn't going to happen or how this isn't going to happen, or all of the obstacles, can kind of keep you stuck in that area, just trying to navigate through all of those. When you focus on how it's possible and how it would be beneficial and how this can help me grow and change, focus on that for a week and then come back and see how you feel about it or how your mindset has changed.
I love it. So if there's someone out there who's like, it's a new year, I know I need to raise this person's fee, even just by $5. Why can't I don't know how? You're saying rather than focusing on I can't, I don't know how, actually really shift your mind to like, how could I do this? Mm-hmm. What would it be like to actually raise my fees? What if this were easy? What would that look like? Very nice.
What would it look like? If you knew that without a doubt that you were raising your fees, what would be the first thing that you do? Like I would type it up or I would send an email. So even if you're not ready to do that, actually get the email written and have it ready. You know what I mean? So moving into that direction of where you're trying to go versus getting stuck in all of the fears and anxieties as to why you can't do it.
I love it. Okay, so for the folks out there listening, in the comment section, I want you to, if you do this challenge, which you're gonna do because you're awesome, if you have something like raise a fee, let us know what the fear is. Oh, I want to raise my fee, or I want to talk about money in the session, whatever this, I want to change my cancellation policy or actually enforce it. Let us know what your goal is. And then a week from now, we want you to focus on the solution. Like, how could I solve this problem? What does that look like? And then come back to the comments and let us know what the difference was when you focused on the solution. How do I solve this thing versus the problem? How does that sound, Yunetta?
It sounds awesome. Through this course, and I've been really working on the idea of like setting and maintaining and establishing boundaries. And this is something I've been working with another colleague, call her my therapist friend, because we're both therapists and friends and we work on stuff. And I've been able to kind of establish and work on and set on an additional stream of income through an e-course with setting boundaries. So that's something I wanted to offer as well. Like for the people that view this, I'll put a code in specifically for like Hey Tiffany or whatever,
Yes.
where they can get a discount on that if that's something that they want to work through, like setting, maintaining, and establishing healthy boundaries. So.
I love that. And that was something you were really working on during Lean and Make Bank, and I saw your progress on that for yourself and then how it reflected in your clinical work and other parts of your life too. So I'm very excited you're doing that. Where can people, do you have a link where people can find it, or how can people find out about your course?
Yes, I have a link. It's the process is real /teachable. .com, so they can go in there and we can add it on here as well.
Yes, for sure.
But the course will be launching this month, actually. So.
Thank you both for making that course. I know it's hard work to put together a course, so I know that you have to really believe in and have results for folks by virtue of putting in all the time and effort to create something like that. So thank you for that. And then also thank you for just coming in and sharing what it was like for you to go through this process yourself. That inspires or allows other people to see, like, man, if she can do it, I can do it. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You've been very beneficial and pivotal in me being able to do this. So I appreciate the work you do. You're awesome. You know that.
I mean, it's always nice to hear.